through your freedom.
Ho, 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 ho.
Madam Speaker, the American people have spoken. They have fired you and have chosen to end the Democrats' one-party rule throughout our government. The days of this chamber being treated as Pelosi's house instead of the people's house are over.
And a big F you, 90 Proof Nancy, you freaking witch. Hey, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It's Monday Mayhem. Woo! You remember when Lauren Boebert, Republican, conservative, make America great again, little pixie from Colorado. Remember when they said she lost the election to a Democrat, a little perverted creep by the standards of many, alleged perverted creep, having, I don't know, sex with somebody in like a fucking laundry room or a janitor's closet? I mean, dude, isn't there a better place to go poking your baloney at someone? Anyways, these people are a bunch of cretins and a bunch of creeps, and it is Monday Mayhem, and we're going to do the monologue and the Q&A, and it is your turn. Well, hey, all you got to do is go to the subscribestar.com or thepreparedmind.club. Go there, and for $2 a month, either or, I prefer you go to the club because it's thepreparedmind.club and you get newsletters and other shit there as well. Hey, you do $2 a month, 7 cents a day, and you support this channel, support our efforts. Tell YouTube, F you. Now, many of you may or may not know that YouTube gave us a strike, take us off the air for a whole week because somebody said something that was misinformation, right? Someone got butthurt, got their pubes all twisted up in an egg beater, and they got upset. Too bad. Once again, folks, this is satire, right? It's joke. Oh, we don't talk about anything real here unless we describe Nancy Pelosi's drinking problem. That's right. It is all satire. You get to decide the value, the fact level, right? Is the mainstream media factor? Woo! Not really. How about the Prepared Mind channel? And as a joke, how were our facts? Woo! Yeah. Hey, you get to choose, though. I do not get to tell you. Not a bit. There is a lot of shit going on today. I don't know whether to believe it. Is this some kind of weird? No, wait a minute. Shit has hit the fan. It is all jacked up. Let's start with this. Oh, get your questions down below. Ooh, man is in the house. He's got one of his favorite hats on. He's got his blue wrench. Hopefully, big beer. He's working the discussion. Any way you look at it, get your questions in. It'll be your turn to direct the audience's attention to thousands of people on a daily basis. So, a former Twitter freedom of speech ruiner, aka censor, justified banning the Babylon Bee. Not funny, dangerous. You know what? There's a reason you're a former employee. That's right, folks. These are former employees. So fuck you for not allowing satire, you bunch of pricks. And well, since they're the censor, only their opinions matter. It's only funny if they say so. Once again, fuck you, face of Twitter. There's thousands of them, folks, and I hope that they are joined by thousands more. Moving on. In Germany, a 14-year-old girl ran into someone from North Africa, someone who was seeking political asylum. So we saw this 14-year-old girl. And instead of thanking her for her generosity and the generosity of Germany, he stabbed her to death. Folks, this is what we get when you allow unvetted, illegal dipshits from third world countries into our civilized Western culture. They don't share anything in common with us except breathing air, folks. Blame the European Union and its stupid-ass policies. Germany continues to see rape, theft, assault and murder coming from these, what did President Trump call them? Right? These people from shithole countries. Oh, no, yeah. And Biden wants to leave the southern border open. Complete, total, impeachable offense in my book. Now, speaking of impeachable, speaking of criminal, Dr. Anthony Fauci. Do you trust his science? Do you trust him and take him at his word? Or should he be prosecuted? Remember, folks, Dr. Fauci and his health agencies tortured dogs for years. Congress is now trying to ask and find out what the hell is going on. Folks, I don't just want hearings in Congress. I want them to do something about it. I don't just want you to ask hard questions and show him to be a hypocrite and a liar, because that's what he is. We already know that. We have the science. We have the facts. We have the statistics. It's not effective. It's not safe. And the Jim Jones juice just might kill you. But this bastard has also tortured animals, in the name of science. So since he is like God, El numero scienzo number one, Fauci, right? Is that an animal sacrifice to him? Well, it sure seems like it to me. Now, speaking of death, and folks, I'm on a roll here, right? 7 minutes in and I'm already blasting these fucking idiots. Shit has hit the fan, folks. There's a lot more coming. Hang on to your hats. Buckle up. Get yourself a beverage. Make sure it's fortified with vitamin A. Canada is a death cult phase 2. Well, if you're not happy being killed by immigrants, how about if the government just offers you some death as a solution? In Canada, they have a former Paralympian, folks, right? Someone who's got a handicap. They're in a wheelchair, on crutches. They got a limp. They're missing a limb. I don't know. But Canada had a Paralympian, former Paralympian. This person asked for a stair lift in their home. Well, this person is also not only a Paralympian, but a veteran, folks, a veteran of the Canadian military. Canada says, you want a stair lift, huh? Well, how about if we assist you to kill yourself in suicide? That's the answer. Death. Serious socialist death cult, folks. Well, if we can't kill you with the Jim Jones juice, maybe we can offer assisted suicide and kill you. I'm sure that the hospitals in Canada that would offer you assisted suicide will charge just as much for that procedure as they would for a fucking stair lift in your house. I mean, how about a chair and a pulley with some fucking rocks on it as a counterweight to pull yourself up and down? I mean, come on, work with me here, Canada. They just go, you need a chair lift. How about if we just fucking kill you instead? Head scratching begins. Is socialism really good? I mean, really? Is that a hard question to answer? I don't think so. These people are complete bastards, folks. Complete scum. Now, I want to get into this story. It's a big deal. And did I tell everyone that YouTube reversed their decision on the strike? Yeah, I am funny. This is satire. And I don't care what they think, right? They don't get to say, you can't talk about that. Yeah. No, too bad, you bunch of pricks. Right? You've limited me to saying everything I say isn't serious, and I won't break your terms of service and your community guidelines, and I'm just a joker, right? Well, I say all that, and then I have some discussion. You guys participate. The only way to get through and over and around these pricks is to share that internet address up there to support this channel and others like it that are getting the truth out there, folks, the facts. Now, this is the big thing for the day. This is a big deal. Is this true or not? As reported in the GatewayPundit.com, in Brazil, their military has gone after cartel leaders, drug cartel leaders. The Brazilian military has killed the Red Command, folks. What the fuck is going on in Brazil? They just had a bunch of Nintendo games a couple of weeks ago that went really bad. And it looked like a complete hostile takeover. Where have we seen that happen in 2020? Well, in Brazil, the people didn't buy it. The military hasn't bought it. And now they've gone after it, and it appears, according to the Gateway Pundit, that the military has snuffed out. They held a very quick, brutal, and loud trial and executed their plans. Is this real? I'm going to give you a few more tidbits of information. You decide if it's real or not, folks. You decide what you want to believe. This is considered an unusual step. Yeah, no shit. The Brazilian army has invaded the Rio de Janeiro and killed the leaders of the Comando Vermelho, meaning Red Command, right? Red Command. I don't have a great Portuguese accent, so all of you from Brazil, please forgive me. Now, that Red Command, folks, supports the communist Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, the person who claims that they won the Nintendo game in Brazil and wants to be president. It appears that the military has gone in and taken out drug lords who support this guy. Could it be, folks, that drug money is what is being used to push the communist insurrection in Brazil? That sounds kind of like the CIA using drug money to sponsor their their national security activities and promote their version of good government. You know, because as jackass Steny Hoyer says, the deep state is a cadre of patriots. Yeah, my ass. So, they're going after the heads of drug trafficking of Moro do Warramento and Warramentijo. I tell you, I don't speak Portuguese, folks. I'm sorry. This guy is known as the Rolinha or Titio Rolinha and the Helvetan. See, this is all a bunch of Brazilian bullshit. It looks like the military went and killed a bunch of fucking drug lords who were funneling money into political campaigns and political efforts to take control of the Nintendo game system elections down in Brazil. The drug cartels are the armed wing of the communists. Sounds very similar to what we have here in the United States of America, huh? Let's see. You have a bunch of socialist communist pricks. And instead of having a bunch of drug lords, they have Antifa and BLM and a bunch of false flag cadres out there. Now, this collusion between drug cartels and communists has been around for a long time down in Brazil. Now, also, folks, Brazil is, I think, the largest country in South America, the entire continent. But South America is riddled, folks. It's not just dotted. It's not just sparsely populated. It's been riddled with communist takeover attempts since the 1970s. And oh yeah, by the way, that was the Jesuit priesthood pushing communism through the church. Well, it's moved over into drug money. Wow, that's an interesting combination, huh? Yeah, take enough drugs and you'll see God, right? One way or the other. And many of them are going to see him the old-fashioned way, right? Like the pearly gates going, yeah, you can take the escalator down, you dirty bastards. Anyways, hundreds of thousands of protesters, millions of Brazilians have been protesting what has happened, folks. And it looks like the military is now taking some action, right? There's some crazy stuff going on down in Brazil. So I have these questions, right? Let's ask ourselves some questions. Remember when I said, hey? Or did I say, hey? What's worse, Martial law, meaning the military is taking control of government, administration, and law enforcement. What's worse, that or communism? Right? Is this what's going on in Brazil real, or is it fantasy? I don't know. I'm not in Brazil, and nor do I plan on it. Let's see. Drug running, drug selling, drug cartel communists have been funneling money, and now that has been stopped because the leaders are killed. Is the corruption and Nintendo coup now stumped? And what comes next in Brazil? But I want to look a step further, folks, and ask this very important question. Will our nation, the United States of America, ever see this type of thing happen? Can it happen here in the United States of America, where military factions go after the hardcore communists? They know who they are. They know where they are. They know their means, methods, and techniques. They know who their street rats are, and they know who the high command are. Do you think they will ever put an end to these scumbags up in our nation? Would you support it? Would you accept martial law out of Washington, D.C. under a non-deep state regime? Very crazy stuff indeed, folks. I'm going to keep a sharp eye on what is going on. Sharp eye. I recommend you do as well. And now beef and noodle casserole, a recipe from Uman. No, I'm not going to read the recipe. I want to thank you, though, Uman, for sending that in. Folks, rather than drug cartels funneling money to the woke Democrats in the United States of America, you have money mules supposedly funneling money, campaign contributions to people like Georgia senatorial candidate Warnock. Right, he got hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars from unemployed contributors. That's an interesting trick. So Brazil has drug lords, and America has unemployed people and corporations like FTX. That's right, the Sam Bankman-Fried, Fried Bankman, whatever the fuck his name is, that little fuzzy-haired twit who laundered other people's investments through Ukraine back into America. Supposedly, well, he claims it was only about $100 million. Only $100 million that he gave to Democrats. Well, it looks like he may have given $1 billion in investment money from others and just funneled it to Democrats. Why isn't he being investigated? Why isn't there a public announcement that there is a great fraud and suspected crime and they're looking into it? Nothing but fucking crickets from Merrick Garlic Garland, the Attorney General of the United States government in D.C. No, folks, he's worried about you and your grandchildren. He is the sniffer-in-chief's number one man in law enforcement. But it's more than just FTX, folks. The former Levi's, that would be Levi's clothing, a former Levi's exec has submitted their opinion about these corporations. They're pushing for everything that's happening, folks, and they're doing it for all the wrong, right reasons. This is basically a description of what's going on. It says this executive submitted that wokeism, that is corporations pretending to give a shit about victimized, special, protected people. Wokeism is a costume. It's an act that they put on. Wokeism is a costume that the elite corporate people wear to virtue signal. That is, show everyone that they're hip and they're cool and they get it and they're part of it. They want to do that to hide their greed and their corruption. What greed and corruption? Oh, yeah, that's right. FTX. Funneling money to Democrats while they pretend to be virtuous. while they pretend to be higher than thou and so moral. They don't really give a fuck, is what this former Levi's executive submits. Now, it's interesting that we have people who reveal the truth of their thoughts after they become, well, unemployed. A former Twitter person is, that's not funny. Well, you're a censor. You don't get to decide what's funny. You get to decide, what is and isn't, right, being stated as truth. This show is not being presented as fact. It's being presented as satire. Just because you don't find it funny doesn't make it, something bad. Now, right, this former employee of Levi's, former executive, now they want to admit that wokeism is bullshit. It's an act. It's a costume ball face they put on, right? Oh, the tears. Oh, corporations really care. No, they don't. They don't give a fuck. They really don't, folks. All they want to do is ensure that their corporation makes enough money that they get their big fat payoffs. And there you go. Now, I want to give you guys some positive stuff. I love to give positive news stories. So a good guy with a gun. That's interesting, right? In Democrat cities, all we hear about is bad guys with guns. If you go to Republican areas, you hear about good guys with guns. And this good guy stopped an attack on a pregnant woman. Right, this fucking guy was brutally attacking a woman who was pregnant at a grocery store in the parking lot. How much crime do you think would be stopped, thwarted, if more people carried, right, and expressed their desire, right, to have the world be a better place by using the Second Amendment, right? Shall not be infringed, strikes again, and stops bad guys. I tell you. What a week, what a weekend, what a week, what a weekend. It never ends. Ask Ooman. When you're done working your ass off all week, you get to work your ass off all weekend. So you're like, whew, the work week is over. I'm going to work my ass off all weekend. Then you work your ass off all week and you're like, whew, the weekend's over. I guess I'll get some rest while I work. Crazy stuff, folks. While you're out working, while we are all out working so we can understand what's going on in the world, get prepared for the inevitable, folks. The woke assholes in the education system do not give up. They don't. 3 groups showed up in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, right? Fort Lauderdale, Miami. You have Gays Against Grooming. Let's see, who are the other ones? Fathers for Freedom and Moms for Liberty. Yeah, folks, there's a lot of gays who are against this grooming that is going on. And it was a Protect the Children rally in Fort Lauderdale. And guess who showed up? That's right, the mayor, Dean Trantalis. And he ended up arguing with a bunch of the rally people. Now, I'm glad that this prick, who, by the way, is LGBTQ whatever the fuck, I'm glad he actually came out and tried talking with people. So one parent told Trantalis, mayor, Lighten the Loafers mayor, he said, that's my decision as a parent. That's your prerogative for your children, but I don't drop my kids to school to learn that, meaning the LGB agenda, the trans agenda. He says, I drop them off to learn reading, writing, and math. So the mayor said, it's not because the teaching of sexual orientation, the problem he's speaking of, it's because parents aren't preparing their kids for school. Don't blame the LGBTQ community. And so then another parent steps up and says, we're here with the LGBTQ community. We're here, meaning the Gays Against Groomers. We are speaking out against the sexualization of children. So the mayor says, in further response, did you hear that, parents? It's not the mayor or the school board's fault. It's your fault that your kids aren't getting educated. Is that what you said? And so someone says, hey, are you really blaming parents for what's going on in the schools? This guy actually, the fucking mayor continued, right? It's almost like he's speaking another language, right? He says, I believe that parents need to be the first people to teach their children about every subject. Well, if that's the case, if parents are teaching their kids about being moral, decent, right, educated, and the school's doing the exact opposite, yeah, the parents have done their job, and that's why they're pissed off that the school is doing the exact opposite, right? Teaching their kids about what critical race theory and how to cut your wiener off, and not teaching them to read, write, and learn arithmetic. Now, they said, Mayor Trantalis, you are against child grooming, right? This is what was being asked of him. You're against that. You are a gay man and you're against this stuff, right? So why aren't you standing with us, meaning the parents who are against what is going on? And Trantalis says, because the word groomer has connotations more than what you are attaching to it. No, it doesn't. What they're attaching to it is that the teachers and the school system are trying to get their kids, right, into a sexualized mode where they can be taken advantage of. You know, grooming. It's just our little secret. Folks, that's how sick these people are. I'm glad this guy showed up in public and made the case against what it is they're doing. And he had the fucking guts to blame parents for what's going on and claim he's not doing what everyone is seeing them doing. Right? The fucking guy in charge of Fort Lauderdale, the mayor, is himself supporting the grooming of children using the current sexualized educational system. That's how sick these people are. Right? That's how sick these people are. And it's not all the gays, folks. It's the ones who are screaming the loudest and claiming they represent everyone. Now, speaking of sick bastards, scumbag Mitch McConnell, Senate leader for the Republican Party, has joined with someone you would never guess. Oh, wait, you would guess because he is a scumbag. He's joined with Pelosi and up Chuck Schumer. That's right. 90 Proof Nancy and up Chuck Schumer have a good buddy in Mitch McConnell. Yeah, is he a Republican or is he a rhino? Right, he's a bullshit artist. He's a sellout. He has agreed to pass, folks, a media bailout that allows the censorship of conservative media sources. Why do I say prep to action? Because we all need to continue to send emails, texts, carrier pigeons, smoke signals, phone calls to Washington, D.C. every single day and tell them we want to get rid of Mitch McConnell and every rhino. We want our laws observed, our rights upheld, the Bill of Rights understood, oaths to be obeyed by these scumbags in D.C. I sure hope you guys want to talk about this stuff with me because it's going to be your turn here pretty darn quick. Pretty darn quick. We got a lot of topics, folks. Got a lot of topics. Yeah. It's both safe and effective, the Jim Jones juice. That's why Bill Clinton tested positive for cerveza bug yet again. Whoops a daisy. What the hell is going on, folks? Literally. It's safe and effective. I don't see a whole lot of evidence of that. But the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Army say, well, it's time for mask mandates again. Thank you, Mr. Uman. It's time for mandated masks again. Yeah, that's going to help because it worked so well the first time. I know, let's keep doing everything that doesn't work again and again and again. And someday it'll finally work and then they'll get to claim victory. See, we were right. You just needed 50 freaking juice boosters. I don't think so. These people are that stupid, folks, and that makes them very, very dangerous. Okay. Let's take a look at what you guys have to say. Get your questions into Uman right now, because when we get back from this short, I don't even want to call it a break, this short transition, right? We're going to talk to you guys.
Are you ready?
Never forget who is doing this to us. It's not me. It's not you. It's people who hate America. It's people who hate America. Okay, man, let's start off with a nice Monday Mayhem question, shall we? And it is our good friend Vincent Boyle from Belfast, Ireland, who's checking in. He says, Oxford, United Kingdom, Great Britain. They plan to develop areas in which you only can leave certain times a year. Climate lockdown coming to a city near you. This is something they've been talking about, folks. It's been in the media and it's been in the alternative media too. The idea of having open air prisons. Now let's just see. You ever see a hamster in a hamster cage get on the hamster wheel and they run really damn fast? Run as fast as they can. They get nowhere. And then they're tired. They get off the wheel and they rest. They're pretty satisfied in their little worlds, these hamsters. Well, the governments have decided that we too can be satisfied with being locked in a relatively large space, but still confining nonetheless. Locked down to your city, a small geographic location. In order to do this, let's think about it. How would they do this? How would they monitor or control it? Well, they would need bottlenecks, roads going from district to district, city to city. And you would have to have the pass, a password. Only you can leave if only you have the password, right? Maybe you're allowed to leave certain times a year. Maybe your license, which is permission from the king, maybe your license allows you to leave for 1 week in April or 1 week in September. And that's all you get to leave for. And you better be back or you'll be fined heavily. Wouldn't that be interesting? That would be very interesting. Don't you think? Who do these people think they are? Well, they think they're gods, folks. They think they're kings. They think they're aristocrats. That's exactly what the aristocracy did hundreds of years ago. In the feudal system, right, when barons and counts and earls were the lords of the land, you couldn't leave their territory unless you had a pass, unless you had permission or license, if you will. This idea of traveling is a relatively recent phenomena in the human experience. Being able to travel from, county to county or into another country and back, or to travel around the world freely, that is very modern and represents a very small chapter of human history where people were allowed to go wherever the hell they wanted. And they're trying to take all of that back away from us. Well, we got to protect the climate. If you travel too much and leave your city, well, then you're going to cause climate damage. That's the lie that they're telling. That's the bullshit story. And it's truly happening now. They've been talking about a neo-feudal system, folks, since the early 2000s. I heard it the first time. I went, neo-feudal system? How the hell are they going to convince people to accept being peasants once again? And then lo and behold, folks, these people push it and push it and push it. And here we are. It's a climate lockdown. It's a COVID lockdown. It's a Jim Jones juice lockdown. It's a war lockdown. It's an energy lockdown. Any excuse they need. Folks, they're not trying it here in America. Well, they've talked about it. They call them open air prisons. Well, you can go from your home to your work and from your work back to your home. You can travel in a small area around you. You can go to the store only if you need to. You can go out on the weekends. Well, if you have good reason and there's not something else going on. But this is starting to sound a lot like communist Russia and communist China that still exists, where people are prisoners to their jobs and their homes. That's what they want here, folks. Yeah, the World Economic Forum said it. They said just the other day that China is the economic model for the world to follow. One of the greatest human rights violators on the planet, China. One of the greatest murdering regimes that's still in power today, Communist China. Also, one of the grossest polluters the planet has ever seen, Communist China. Uses cerveza bug, the climate, and their communist socialist control techniques to lock people down. And you want to protest? Better get back in line or they'll call the tanks out. Vincent Boyle, thank you for letting us know that, yes, indeed, in the United Kingdom, they're pushing for these open air prisons. Folks, would you settle for that? How would you like to live in Chicago and be told, you can't leave Chicago? Right? How would you like to live anywhere and told you can only travel in a 10 or 20 mile radius without special permission from the gods? While they jet set and hobnob and fly around in their carbon polluting fucking aircraft. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's do this. Uman, who do we have next? And it is none other than the very to the point Bonnie Blue 2A. She says, if the self-appointed elite climate worshippers were so concerned about saving the earth, wouldn't they meet on Zoom and video conference instead of taking their yachts and planes? Well, how dare you, Bonnie, use your brain that way? How dare you question their integrity and their intent? Who cares how much fuel they burn if they can stop the 99% from causing climate damage? Can't we forgive them their transgressions, Bonnie? Can't we forgive them their transgressions if they stop the rest of us? That will more than make up for the fact that they are the most gross polluting class on the planet. These fucking people, folks, and me personally, I have nothing against the wealthy. But let's just say you have a 10,000 or a 20,000 square foot fucking mansion, or you have 2 or 3 of them, or 5 or 6 of them around the world, and every one of them is huge and is climate controlled 24/7, 365 days out of the year. Because you can't have, folks, a home in the tropics go without air conditioning. Good golly, no, because then the moisture could cause problems. You have to keep them air conditioned, right? Air conditioned and then therefore dry. So, nothing is damaged in the house by the excess moisture of the tropics. That's how these people are, folks. They could do exactly what we think they should. And as Bonnie has suggested, that is have Zoom or some other form of collaborative, internet-based, technology-based meeting. But no, they want to fly around the world. And I know it, folks. I've been on an airplane. You look out the window and you're like, yeah, I'm feeling high and mighty today flying in my jet with these other 500 people. But, looking down on the little people of the planet. What do you think this jackass thinks? These enormously, shall we say, callous and arrogant bitches and pricks who fly in their private jets with no other passengers around while someone pours their champagne and flies them to and fro. And they look down out of their wings and they're like, yeah, all of those people down there are working for me. They're buying shit, they're selling shit, and I get their tax money, I get their carbon credits, I get the profits from all of their spending and consuming. I think we should lock them down even more. Let's get rid of the airline industry and screw over the little people. Let's have the politicians screw everyone over and tell them they can't travel, and we'll save the climate. We'll say we're saving the planet. This isn't the first time this has happened. It happens all throughout history. The elites, the wealthy, the rich, the powerful, they take that power and they solidify their control over the geographic area in which they live. And they work with other landlords or big shots, if you will. And they do the same. And then they work with one another to keep the rest of the people screwed over, poor, fighting amongst themselves. Oh, yeah. That's how that shit goes. It truly does, folks. It truly does. Right? James Woods, a fabled Hollywood actor who is a conservative and also a giant asshole, which is kind of why I like him. I completely back James Woods. He told Tucker Carlson that he's going to sue the Democrat National Committee for Twitter suppression. The dude has earned his hate, James Woods. We all have earned it, folks. Our hate for the censors and the liars. I hope he does sue the Democrat National Committee. It's looking more and more as the Twitter nonsense is exposed that we have been silenced unconstitutionally, intentionally, and prejudicially by these people. I want it to come out. I want people pissed off. I want them so mad that they're willing to do something about it. And I'm not talking about violence, because I would never, ever, ever promote violence or glorify or glamorize it. But it's coming, folks. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time between the perverts and the fruitcakes and the communists and the sickos and the sycophants before the people have had enough of it. It's quite interesting, folks. When the people get tired of it, they don't care who you are. I recall it was a year ago or so, maybe 2 years ago. Hell, maybe it was 3 years ago. Down in Mexico, I think it was about 3 years ago. Down in Mexico, a local village decided they had enough of the drug cartels. And they went in and kicked the ever-loving shit out of them. You see, even the mafia, folks, has a responsibility. That if they're going to live in an area, they have to, do their duty. And that is protect people, not terrorize them totally. And that's, that's the fact of the matter, folks. One more good story before we get back to man. I got another good story, right? Good neighbors with guns, right? Capture a man who broke into a home, and there were children in this home, and wouldn't you expect there to be? So shall not infringe saves the day in Michigan. I wouldn't be surprised, folks, if Gretchen, the gubernatorial Grinch, the governor of Michigan, and her attorney general scumbag, who is also a witch, surprised they don't go after this guy and arrest him, right? Arrest the good neighbors for stopping someone from breaking into someone else's home. All righty, man, what do we got rolling? Who wants to be next? Who wants to be famous? It is none other than Latin America Preparedness. And he said, the IRS have notified of big tax changes. People will not like passed in the American Rescue Plan. Third-party payment apps like PayPal, Venmo, and CashApp will be sending $10.99K to many people. Thoughts? Well, this is an issue. This is a problem. You see, on the Prepared Mind channel, for example, I don't sell goods. There is no taxable exchange going on here. Right? These are donations that you guys send in. Donations. Right? Donations aren't taxed. Well, do I have to have a special 501c3? Right? Do these donations exceed the $600 threshold? Yeah, they're coming after everyone, folks. Right? The American Rescue Plan. Yeah. They keep telling us, yeah, billionaires are bad. And then they come after the little people. Smoking is bad, but instead of taxing the cigarette companies, they tax the people who buy the cigarettes. There's a reason cigarettes are $10 a fucking pack. It's not because tobacco is rare. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's coming, folks. PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App will be sending $10.99K to many people. What they want to do is capture every dollar they can. Now, people that aren't operating as a business is something quite different, right? This is all about screwing us over. That's all there is to it. I don't want to color it any differently than that. They want to squeeze every penny they can out of the people. Right? I appreciate all of the donations that have been sent in over the months because it keeps me well fed. Right? I'm not withering away to nothing. I eat very well on tuna fish and Spam and Ritz crackers. Right? I don't have as much scotch as I used to. But look out, folks. They're coming for us. Joe Biden and Build Back Better. What the fuck is he building back? Big government is what he's building back, folks. That's what these guys are all about. These people are all about their critical race theory. These people are all about, they're all about their sickness that they have. I'm going to give you a little story here. I'm going to give you a little story. A Oriental Trading Company employee has been sentenced to 4 months in prison because he left a twine noose on a floor scrubber. These people are this petty, stupid, irrational, folks. So a guy's been sentenced to 4 months because he made a twine noose. Now here's the quote, okay, from the Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark for the Justice Department Civil Rights Division. This is what they said to ABC News. Quote, federal courts have long recognized the noose as one of the most vile symbols in American history. Individuals like this defendant who used a noose to convey a threat of violence at a workplace will be held accountable for their actions. Folks, did you know that the noose was used by the federal government to hang Confederates and traitors and anyone that they wanted to kill? That's right. The federal government has hung more people than anyone else. In fact, governments, as we've discussed, have murdered more people than anyone else, period, using all of their various techniques. Individuals like this defendant who use a noose to convey a threat of violence at a workplace will be held accountable for their actions. When was the last time you heard of anyone using a noose to kill anyone else over anything else? Of who of any color has been killed with a noose lately? The noose is one of the most vile symbols in American history, says this dipshit twit of an attorney. And folks, it wasn't even a rope noose. It was a noose made of twine. Really, right? I have heard death threats, folks, and been told by law enforcement that there's nothing they can do, Mr. John. There's nothing they can do, nothing at all. Nothing can be done. Even if the person was serious or had a violent criminal record already, the police are like, nothing we can do. It's just a stupid threat. But putting a piece of string, setting it down someplace in the workplace is so vile and dangerous that becomes a crime if it is left where someone else can see it, right? This is a bizarro world, pansy-assed, juvenile horseshit, folks. But it's the world in which we live. Now I want to back up again. Anyone who would use a noose to convey a threat of violence at the workplace will be held accountable for their actions. How about social media companies who use social credit score to convey a threat to force compliance should be held accountable for their actions? Threatening to destroy someone's reputation, their employment, their livelihood, their personal lives, anyone who threatens that. What did they say if you didn't get the Jim fucking Jones juice? You won't be able to travel, go to get the food. You won't be able to go anywhere. You can't leave your house if you don't get the Jim Jones juice. Is that tantamount to being violent? Right? Let's see. If someone is sitting on the side of the road and someone hands them an apple to eat, they're starving and someone hands them an apple, and someone else, before they can even take a bite out of it, slaps the fucking apple out of their hand. They've denied them food. Is that an act of violence, denying someone food? Is it an act of violence denying someone the right to move about, to travel? Is it an act of violence to deny someone the ability to go buy something at the store or to have employment? Yet having a string shaped like a noose, scary business, folks. We've got to be careful of these ropes, especially assault ropes. If they're black ropes and they're shiny and they have a grip on them, look out. It is really unbelievable where these people are going. Uman says we have some more questions from you guys here on the preparedmind.club and subscribestar.com. So let's get to it. Eli in the Wolverine State. And he said, the FBI isn't worried about FTX, the one that laundered billions of dollars for the Democrats, but they are worried about Taylor Swift tickets. Oh yeah, Taylor Swift tickets. Don't be scalping tickets. Don't be trying to pass off fraudulent tickets. Right? That's really important stuff. Right? Parents who are concerned about their kids being shown pornographic material in school, or their children talking to fruitcake, light in the loafer, skinny jeans wearing teachers, trying to discuss their sexual proclivities with 5-year-olds. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the teacher part. We're going to worry about those parents because they're the real threat around here. Don't worry about Hunter Biden. Worry about your neighbor because he just bought a spool of rope at the hardware store. And if he dares to tie a loop in that so we can make that rope useful, better stand back. Folks, people in the boating industry are quaking in their boots. Better make sure that bowline knot looks good and doesn't look like a noose, damn it. No tying a loop in the end of your rope and, tying it off somewhere. Can't have that. All right. Thank you, Eli. Yeah, we got some problems, folks. And the leftists have lost their shit and they haven't quit. They're like a rabid weasel that has snapped its leash and is just running through the neighborhood, biting everyone. Oh, man, who do we have next? We got Bonnie Blue again here. She says, did y'all hear that Musk's Neuralink is in the FDA approval process? This scares the shit out of me. Transhumanism will happen in my lifetime. They've used this term transhumanism. The coupling or melding of the human mind with computer technology. I don't think I'm going to allow them to jam some circuits into my head. I don't think I'm going to allow that. It could happen in our lifetime, but this idea of transhumanism, I don't see any fucking advantage to it. I don't see any advantage to putting a chip in my head, something that interacts with me. Can you be mind controlled? Can you be mind influenced? Can your health and mental wellness be influenced if you're continually being prodded by someone like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates or any of these other sick sycophant motherfuckers who think that technology is the solution? Folks, the solution is not technology implanted in our brains. The solution is morality and decency, and we all possess it. And if you refuse to accept the responsibility for being moral, then you are a social outcast, a pile of shit. Right? If you're hurting other people, you're a pile of shit. Well, that would describe exactly the people who wish to control us with such technology. Cerveza sneeze. All right. What was it that Nikki was just trying to say? Oh, man. What did... Oh, chat jumps when I'm trying to star a comment. Well, I can't blame you. Our internet hosting service has been a little glitchy lately. Yeah, Nikki's talking about going right from, I guess, ropes to chains. Typical Nikki, always trying to provoke a good argument and a good laugh, a good belly laugh, that is. All right. We got another comment, statement, question, concern? Yes, we do. It's Bonnie Blue 2A says, if modern monetary policy, meaning money printing, means that the U.S. Treasury can just hit Control P, why do they need to tax we the people? If modern monetary theory is just a Ponzi scheme, is modern monetary theory or policy just a Ponzi scheme for the feds? It is the excuse and justification for what they have no choice but to do. That is to say that they've put themselves in a corner. Right? All the Federal Reserve really has is the ability to raise or lower interest rates and to print more or destroy currency. It's not money. Money cannot be destroyed. Silver is silver. Gold is gold. You can lose it. You can forget about it. You can squander it and you can give it away, but it still exists. Currency, on the other hand, is based on nothing. The currency we have is fiat, and it's just a piece of paper. Whether you scribbled 1 or 100 million on it, and whether it's a dollar or a pezuza or a peso, it doesn't matter. It's just currency. And that's all the Federal Reserve has, is the ability to print more of it or to run through a paper shredder. But they neither create nor destroy anything real. But they've got themselves in a pickle over what they've done to the economy with their policies. So now the only way out is to continue to print. And people go, wait a minute, that's what causes hyperinflation. And so the Fed has come out and said, no, you bunch of sillies. This is modern monetary theory, which has been around for over 100 years. And they've tried it many times and it always fails. But it's modern. It's more than space age modern theory. It's more than, computers. This is modern monetary theory. Tell you what, it is a Ponzi scheme. It's a bullshit money printing scheme. And all they can do is continue to play the game, folks. Right? If you roll a boulder down a hill, a steep hill, you're not going to stop it. All you can do maybe is direct it a little more left or a little more right, but it's going to keep rolling until all the destruction is over. So the Federal Reserve can push a little left, push a little right, but ultimately, folks, the snowball or boulder is rolling down the hill and it's going to crash at the bottom. That's what modern monetary theory will do. Whether they call it modern monetary theory or modern currency destruction and devaluation, and you, the taxpayer and citizens, get to suck it. That's really what the policy should be called. All righty. Man, are we all wrapped up? Who's your life? Who's your daddy? He says, I'm going to send you another bottle of scotch and cigars. Hate to see a brother go without. I really appreciate that, man. I really do. I hate for us to all go without. And I appreciate all that you all do in your contributions and support of one another in this channel. Without you, the channel, who gives a fuck? I'm just some guy talking. Because of you, this becomes a network of thinking people helping others get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Together with your plan will help you folks deal with the shit that's coming. You think it's over? It hasn't even really started. You think the perverts and the thieves and the scumbags in special interest groups and government are going to quit and just give up and go away? No. They're going to go full tilt, scorched earth on us all. Great reset. So just line up and get your Jim Jones juice. Hand over all things of wealth. Own nothing and you'll be happy, they say. While they tell you you can't leave your home and you can't go more than just a few blocks, a few miles from your house. That's what they want for you, folks. That's what they want for all of us. Well, I say, fuck them. And let's fight for freedom. So start calling your congressmen, your senators, and telling them the truth, the facts. Tell them about the Declaration of Independence, that it still stands today. As a reminder to tyrants everywhere that, well, there's guillotines and other devices that are considered vile by the judges. How many people have judges sentenced to be hung by their neck in a noose? And so today some fucking judge, some asswipe prosecutor says it's a vile thing. Well, they're the ones who fucking employed it. Bunch of hypocritical, lying pieces of shit. That's right, folks. That's our government. Chance favors the prepared mind. It is yours. I'll see you 0 dark 30, folks, when we blast out of the bunker tomorrow.
Ho, 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 ho.